I'm Lisa Federico, and this is Inside Northwest Columbus. After spending decades in corporate marketing, I traded boardrooms for backyards because the best stories are happening right here at home. Every week, you'll meet entrepreneurs, creatives, and everyday neighbors doing extraordinary things across Worthington and Northwest Columbus. So let's jump into this week's conversation. Welcome to Inside Northwest Columbus. I'm your host, Lisa Federico. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, I have a very important guest, and we're going to be talking about a very important topic, and that is those kids in foster care that age out of the foster care system. Robin McCalister Zaas is with me today. Welcome to the show, Robin.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Such a pleasure to have you. Robin is the founder of the Mirth Project. This is an organization that is very near and dear to my heart. I have goosebumps just talking about it. I was introduced to Robin, it must be maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
My Am Spirit group always uses Christmas lists from the Mirth Project, and we support a sibling group, brother, sister type organization or family.
Yeah.
Where we buy Christmas gifts for these kids that are in need. However, I did not realize a year and a half ago that your organization has somewhat pivoted in the last 2 years.
We have.
To focus on these kids that age out of the foster care system. And I know I've said this to you 100 times, so I'm sorry you're going to hear it again. But I was so embarrassed, Robin, that I did not realize the need. These kids have no safety net whatsoever. I mean, think about being 18 and being totally out on your own. Everything is complex. Everything from going to school, getting a car, getting a bank account, trying to live your life, trying to budget. I value so much the work that you do in our community, and I'm just so excited to have you on the show today.
Well, I'm excited to be here, and we are so grateful to have you as one of us now.
Well, and I do feel like one of you. I have learned so much from you, and I just want to educate our listeners on this very important topic. Talk with me a little bit and our listeners about what happens when these kids age out of the foster care system. I think some people just think that they age out and move on to this beautiful life, and it is far from perfect.
So I'm going to answer that question with a question. Were you afraid to turn 18?
I was maybe not afraid, but there was this anxiety about what comes next, what's going to happen to me, what kind of a job am I going to get, where am I going to, it was always like all these question marks.
Right.
But I had the support of parents behind me.
Exactly.
If I were out on my own, I think I would think totally different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these kids are afraid to turn 18 because when they turn 18, many of them, the vast majority, are out of the house. The foster care system stops paying parents when kids turn 18, and many times they don't allow them to stay. So these kids, 20% of them are instantly homeless. That's 20%, and that is a crazy number. Now, some of them will end up going back to their family of origin, whether they should or not.
Right.
Some of them will couch surf. Some of them will end up in a shelter. And some of them now, luckily, in Columbus, Ohio, can end up at Scholar House 3.
Yeah, and tell our viewers about Scholar House 3. I did not know that this existed. Thank God it does.
Yes.
And hopefully we will have more of these communities
exactly
in the near future.
Yes. So Scholar House 3 is a 30-unit apartment building in downtown Columbus, which is home to 30 former foster youth who are currently enrolled in college or trade school. So it is a place they have to apply to live. And they do pay rent, 30% of any money of their income. It's just like a regular affordable housing community. But this is a beautiful apartment building. Each of them have their own apartment, washer and dryer, a bedroom, a bath, a kitchen, and a little living space. It is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous building.
Well, and it sounds like, okay, so they have housing.
Yes. Yes.
But I participated in your big table event 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Where we played the game of life through the eyes of a kid who is aged out of the foster care system.
Right.
There is so much more to living your life than just having a place to live.
Exactly.
It's everything else. Talk a little bit about, I know that like once they age out, they're done and they're homeless.
Right.
But there are so many other things that they have to contend with.
Exactly. I mean, I think about the thing that really impacts me is the fact that these kids instantly have to go to the state for food stamps to feed themselves, right? I mean, and to be 18 years old and suddenly have to navigate government offices.
We don't even like to do that as adults.
No,
for goodness
exactly.
sake. Yeah.
But if they want to eat, that's what they have to do, right? So it's feeding themselves. It's learning how to manage money, learning how to open a bank account, learning how to budget, learning how to cook. I mean, lots of things they were never taught in foster homes, and they need to learn them themselves. So that's one thing that we work on with the Mirth Project, with our NET program, is teaching them those life skills.
Yeah. And let's talk about this safety net. And I know we've talked a little bit about life skills, but what exactly does the Mirth Project do to assist these kids?
Sure. So we are creating a program right now at Scholar House 3, building a model program, and it's called the NET. And it consists of a financial safety net, a life skills training college, eventually a social enterprise where we'll employ former foster youth. We're going to be bringing on a trauma therapist, a career counselor, potentially some anger management therapy, things that they need. And we want to do it one-on-one. One way that we're different than programs that exist for these kids, there are some life skills training programs, but it's for a whole big group, like a classroom full. Our hypothesis is these kids will react better if it's a one-on-one environment or a really small group. Like our cooking classes we have are like 6 to 8 kids. And we believe that that's going to be the most impactful for them.
Right. And I love what you said earlier about the fact that you do focus on low-income teens as part of the Mirth Project program. But you also said that population is so vast that it's really hard to make an impact.
Right.
You can help it like Christmas time, the holidays, but outside of that, I mean, it's hard to get your arms around, where the population of these kids that age out of the foster care system is much smaller. And in my brain, it seems like it's an easy problem to solve. But I know that it isn't.
Well, it is and it isn't. I don't think anyone's really sat down and tried to figure it out. I mean, as a society, we put a lot of Band-Aids on problems, right? I mean, we've given millions of dollars to real issues in our world that really matter, like hunger and poverty and health issues. And we're still giving, and eventually those problems will be solved. I believe that. But this problem we face with what happens to a child who ages out of foster care, I think this one is solvable. It just needs concentrated effort and money flowing into it.
Yeah.
And I think we can do it.
Well, I am hopeful that we can, because I think the world of your organization and the work that you're doing. Help me understand, without the Mirth Project, okay? A kid turns 18. Let's say they turn 18 and it is February, right? Walk me through what happens. Like, what's the process? And I'm shocked that our state or our communities don't have, like, bridge programs. Like, help me through this.
There is no specific program that exists that takes those kids through all the different changes and things they need to do to become a grown-up. There isn't one. There are some programs. There's a Bridges program that's run by the state, and you have to meet a certain number of criteria to get money or funding or support from them. There's an ETV program, which is the same thing, that certain kids can get help from them, but it's not everyone. And it depends on how long you were in foster care. And if you did turn 18 and you were in a foster home. I mean, just that, as an 18-year-old kid trying to figure out who can help me.
Right.
Right.
We don't have anything that pairs these kids up. Even like, how do they even know about the resources that might be available?
They do not.
So
They
we
do
just
not.
basically wash our hands of it.
Yeah, well, when you think about it, there are case managers, right?
Okay.
But these case managers are so overworked and overburdened with caseloads that it's almost impossible for them to give one-on-one support to these kids.
Right. And if you're trying to focus on solving a problem for a 7-year-old,
Right.
that might become more of a priority than the 18-year-old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Even though these 18 young adults, right, they need care and guidance
They
as
do,
well.
absolutely, because these kids have possibility, right? They have the ability to change their life and make something of themselves and their life. They have that possibility. It's just that so many people look at them and think they're going to stay at the certain level forever. They don't have to. And one of the ways I think that we stand out and we're really different is, like, for me, I have no ties to the foster care system. I wasn't a foster child. I've never been a foster parent. And none of the people who are on my board or with us at the Mirth Project volunteers really have that either. So we're coming at it from the outside looking in going, you know what? There is no level that you can't rise above. We see real possibility for all these kids.
Just a quick break to let you know that January on Inside Northwest Columbus is all about feeling better, living smarter, and actually taking control of your health this year. All month long, we're sitting down with experts and we're rethinking wellness and real ways, from sports medicine, pain relief, to menopause care, to the daily habits that genuinely move the needle. No trends, no gimmicks, just practical insights from the people shaping health and wellness right here in our community. If you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss out on conversations that could change how you start this year. Yeah. How did you become introduced to this major challenge?
So we started solely as a Christmas program. In 2017, started as a Christmas program, matched the Christmas wish lists of low-income teens with donors. And we did that till 2021, got our 501c3. And that year, we had a beautiful situation where we had all these people who wanted wish lists at Christmas, and we only had maybe 200. And one of my board members said, Robin, I've got an idea. There is a 30-unit apartment building called Scholar House 3. It's home to 30 former foster youth, and they need our help. And I didn't want to do it. I was like, they're college students. They're not teenagers. Remember, we serve teenagers. And she's like, well, we might have to do things differently this year. And I said, okay. And I went ahead and I scheduled a meeting there, did a wish list event, and it was like everything changed after that night because I couldn't unknow that these kids didn't have access to food every day. And just a little bit of their stories of what had happened to them, I couldn't believe it, right? I mean, I always thought that if you were a foster parent and you had a child who couldn't go back to their family of origin, I thought you'd just take care of them until they could take care of themselves.
Right.
And that doesn't happen. I mean, these kids have stories of being homeless, of living on their best friend's sofa for as long as they could, right? It's scary.
It is scary and incredible that in today's times that we have not figured out. Right?
Exactly.
And
right.
and I don't love what you said, but the fact that we have a apartment community for these kids, but it only houses 30 of them.
Right.
And how many of them are out on the streets or not taken care of?
A lot. But we hopefully from here on out can change that. Right? I mean, I think that there should be more buildings like Scholar House 3. Now, I know in the past there have been houses that were started, but they've since folded because they really didn't have a plan, right? And you need consistent funding coming in, and we're working on that right now with our capital campaign, trying to get enough money coming in that we can have a consistent program at Scholar House 3 and prove our hypothesis.
Yep, absolutely. And your capital campaign started just a couple weeks ago.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Can you tell our viewers a little bit more about what this money will be used for? Because it really does cover all kinds of facets of life for these kids.
The capital campaign is for the Mirth Project as a whole. But our Christmas program and our graduation program is really all done grassroots. It's people signing up for a wish list, buying what they want, people going online and purchasing something for a kid who's graduating and going on to college. It's all done by individuals. It's not us doing it. Mm-hmm. So the majority of the money that we're raising in the capital campaign is going to go to that program, that model program we're trying to build at Scholar House 3 right now. It's going to go to pay for a trauma therapist. It's going to go to pay for the career counseling, the anger management. It's going to pay for things for the life skills training college. And some of it will go into the safety net, because we do have kids who will call us when they have issues with their food stamps and they don't have food that day. So we'll Instacart them what they need. Some of them have trouble with their schooling, like if they didn't do very well and they lost their FAFSA and they need to prove that they're going to come back and do better in school, we do take care of some school fees for them.
Yeah.
And, we've had issues with kids who needed scrubs, right? If they were, taking some nursing classes and they didn't have a way to buy them, we'll do that for them. Or professional clothing to wear to an interview, we'll help with that. So we need to fund that financial safety net as well. So that's primarily what the capital campaign is for. That, and I will say, we all run as volunteers. The Mirth Project is purely volunteer run, and we want to become more self-sustaining.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. We were talking about the program, one of the programs of many that you're building, that teaches, like you have a chef coming in.
Yeah.
And talk a little bit about that, because I think that I came from a family where we cooked all the time.
Yeah.
So I knew how to cook and how to budget for that. But these kids don't have that.
No.
So I'd like for my viewers to hear about some of the programs that you're planning.
Sure.
Because I get goosebumps just talking about it. I know the need is out there, and I'm so glad that you're doing this.
Well, it's the cooking program that we're working on right now is being funded by Amazon ChangeX. They gave us a grant to fund like 6 to 8 cooking classes, which will be, one is actually this weekend. We've got a chef coming in who's going to teach the kids how to cook Thanksgiving dinner for 1 or 2 people. So we're super excited about that. But we will have them coming in January, February, March. And the kids who sign up, the 6 to 8 who get those spots, will actually get the groceries for the meal that we're cooking. So we're super excited about that. It's going to be so fun. We also partner with TSG Advice Partners. They come in a couple times a year and they'll meet with these kids one-on-one, and the kids can ask their financial questions, right? If they've gotten into some trouble with a credit card, or if they need to understand exactly how to open a bank account, things that they might not be comfortable asking us necessarily, but they would a financial professional. So that's super exciting. We also have Chris Borja, the networking guru in town.
Yep.
He came in last year, and I'm hoping that he will do it again, and taught the kids some networking skills. So that was super great. Oh, it is so important. We also had Citic Meyer Group come in, and they helped the kids with like their LinkedIn profiles. And Al Loss, he's a photographer in town, took their profile pictures for LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. And then we had another gentleman who was a resume expert, and he came in and looked at their resumes. And so those kind of partnerships are so important. And it also helps the kids see that people do care about them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So if people want to get involved in the Mirth Project, obviously you have the capital campaign.
Yes.
But what other types of skill sets, or what are you looking for? How can people get involved?
So there is one thing that I am actively working on right now, is someone who has a tax company. We want to bring a company in March to help these kids file their taxes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I mean, we did a little bit this past year, but we want to bring in an organization who can, set up shop in the community room and get them all done in one day, right? Some of them have taxes that they haven't filed yet, right? So they need help with that. And I'm embarrassed to say that is not my strong suit.
Yeah, I need
So we need to bring in help for that.
You and I have the luxury of paying somebody to do that, though. These kids, I can't even imagine trying to figure that out on my own.
Right. And, teaching them what they need to keep, right? Like,
it's a whole thing.
Exactly. Like their W-2s, like knowing what they need to get from their employer.
Right. And look, we don't teach that stuff in school. No. So where are they going to get it?
Right. You would get it from your parents, right? And they haven't. They haven't. We also run into sometimes problems with these kids not having their birth certificate, not having a social security card, not having their documents.
Right. So you don't exist without any of that stuff.
Exactly. So we actually got a grant from the Junior League of Columbus a few months ago to buy everyone a lockbox for them to keep all of their papers in. And also we had some funding there to help the kids who don't have their birth certificate and their social security card so we can help them get those.
Yeah. One of the things that struck me at the Big Table event that we had a couple weeks ago, I think I mentioned we played the game of life through the eyes of a child aging out of the foster care system. And during the game, we had situations where, for example, they would come to my education table and try to register or do some, but they didn't have the necessary paperwork. Like you said, their birth certificate or driver's license. It is so difficult for even us to navigate that. I can't imagine what that's like for an 18-year-old, especially one that might not have transportation.
Exactly. That is a huge problem for our low-income teen families as well as these kids. Transportation is a massive obstacle. That's why Scholar House 3 is so close to Columbus State. There's a bus, and they can also walk there.
Yeah. Well, and I just read that the average new vehicle now is $50,000. Yeah. And even for these kids to get a used vehicle, I mean, we're talking about $15,000 or $20,000.
I know.
It's going to take them forever to save up for that.
Exactly. No, there are a couple kids at Scholar House that do have cars.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, insurance.
Right. And navigating that whole process.
Exactly.
Do you ever pair these kids up with mentors that might be able to not act as a parent, but guide them with some of these life, I'll call them decisions, but life navigation, I guess, is a better word for it.
So we do not have a specific mentor program set up at this point. We're talking about it, but we do have people in our NET committee who have kind of taken one of the kids under their wing. We have a woman in our NET committee who her husband and her have a renovation business. And one of the girls at Scholar House is really interested in demo. And she's taken her under her wing, and she will go there to whatever house they're renovating, and she'll paint or she'll do landscaping. Yeah. And this woman, I'll name her name, it's Daphne. Daphne is fantastic. Yeah. And Daphne has taken this girl under her wing, takes her grocery shopping, took her out to buy some new clothes when she got her new job. I mean, they've been tremendously helpful to this young woman. And to see the change in this girl,
I can imagine.
Because now she knows she has a net, right? She has us, and she has Daphne, and she's going to be okay. We are going to get her through college and beyond.
Yep. And I think we talk about this. I talk about it a lot. We all need a community of people around us.
You need a village.
Yeah. And these kids just don't come out of the gate with that community. We have to help them build it.
Right.
So for people who might not be able to give to the capital campaign, they can certainly perhaps volunteer their time or their skills.
Right, absolutely. And all they have to do is reach out to us at the Mirth Project. You can go to our website, www.themirthproject.org. And there's, I believe, a place there that you can send a message to us. And more than happy to set up any kind of meeting to talk. We are super protective of the kids.
Of course.
And they are super protective of themselves, right? Because they don't know who to trust. And it's taken a long time to build our trust with them, right? For them to be confident and comfortable to reach out when they need help. They don't like to. I mean, they are fiercely independent. They're resourceful and resilient, and they do not like asking for help.
Yeah.
So There's that.
Incredible. Didn't get the magazine at home? No problem. You can read it for free by signing up for our digital issues. Just head to the link in the show notes. And hey, if you're just listening to this episode, did you know you can watch it too? Catch the full video on YouTube, link below. One of the things I wanted to touch on was I'm still trying to figure out, okay, I'm 18, I've aged out, right? I need, and maybe they don't think about it, health coverage, or I need to see a doctor. I mean, they have to go on Medicaid, I would imagine.
Right. So they can be on Medicaid, I believe, until they're 26.
Okay.
Right. And right now, unfortunately, though, they are struggling with that. I know a young woman at Scholar House who has multiple sclerosis, and she's due for an infusion, and she might not be able to get it because the funding isn't there right now.
Right.
Right.
So, and who helps them with getting on Medicaid and the whole, I mean,
I know.
can't even imagine.
I know. Well, and they do get frustrated. Sometimes they'll come to me with an issue like that, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but their only way through is through, and you got to get on the phone, and you got to hang on the phone until somebody picks up, and it is hard. Who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do that, but sometimes it's what you have to do. But sometimes they don't even know what they don't know, right?
Exactly, to be able to navigate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's heartbreaking. One of the things that someone in the audience said at our Big Table event was that a lot of these kids are just one decision away from disaster.
That is true.
And we have talked about the pregnancy rate.
Yes.
Can you share with our viewers a little bit more about that whole complex issue and what we might be able to do to help with providing a net so that these kids can really get off on the right foot?
So the statistic is that 70% of girls who turn 18 in foster care, who age out, by the time they're 21, they have a child.
Wow.
And unfortunately, I've seen this. Sometimes with statistics, I'm like, not in my backyard, not here. It is here. Every single year, we've seen someone at Scholar House have to leave.
I was going to ask you.
You can't have a child at Scholar House, right? So they've had to leave. And it is an interesting topic, and we've thought about it a lot, how to positively affect that statistic. And there is some thought to having condoms in the resource closet.
Right.
And we're doing that, right?
Right.
That's important. Protection is important. But it's also helping these girls understand their value and their worth.
Right.
And that anything is possible for their life. They just need to believe it and keep moving forward.
Yeah. It's such a complicated issue.
Oh, it is. It is.
And it goes far beyond just access. I don't know where these kids go that end up, getting pregnant and then not being able to live at Scholar House.
So across the street from Scholar House is Scholar House 1 and 2.
Okay.
And that is where you can live with a child.
Unfortunately,
there is a wait list a mile long to get into Scholar House 1 and 2.
Right. But that one decision can
that-
totally derail
Everything.
all the plans that they've made.
But I will say the last young woman who got pregnant and actually had twins, she stayed in school.
Yeah.
And she is in an affordable housing house, a couple miles from Scholar House. And we are still continually to help her because she's a former foster youth. She stayed in school. And as long as you're in school, we'll do whatever we can for you.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What are what are your goals for next year? Give me a vision for what you want the Mirth Project to look like as it maybe relates to the safety net that you're building for these kids.
Right. So we are going to be taking that no safety net, the game of life after foster care, anywhere they want to host us.
I love this.
Yeah.
I love this
And
idea.
we'd like to turn it into a bit of a social enterprise so that we can bring the former foster youth with us to man the stations.
Oh, perfect.
Right. We're hoping for that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, our 5-year plan is to be in multiple cities with the Mirth Project, multiple buildings like Scholar House 3, which actually exists in some places. Scholar House 3 is not an anomaly. There are some facilities like it, but they don't have a Mirth Project.
Yeah.
And we really see this model we're building as being able to be replicated in other places across the state and across the country eventually.
Yeah. So you have a capital campaign to
Yes,
help
we
you
do.
pull these things together. You have your volunteers.
Yes.
You have grants that you're doing.
We are working on as many grants as possible, yeah.
But how can businesses and business owners get involved in supporting you? And the reason why I'm asking is because a lot of employers and employees are looking for ways to give back to our community.
Right.
I would think that this could be a perfect program for companies out there that want to get involved, that want to make a difference. We're not talking about it costing that much, right? And you've got volunteer opportunities for employees. This is a great way to incorporate them into a solution for this issue that we have.
So if it is a business or a company that has a skill, something that they do that could be usable in our life skills training college, we want to talk to them.
Great.
But we also collaborate with small businesses for things like Craft House number 5 in Powell. They had a Wish number 327 was the drink in August, and we got money for each drink that was purchased.
Right.
That not only gave us a donation, but it also built awareness for the Mirth Project and former foster youth. We had a collab with Jackie O's in downtown in May. So those kind of collaborations where we can figure out a way to help each other, we're so in. And the more we can do that in the more places in the greater Columbus area, the better off we all are.
Right. I'm so glad to hear that. I do think that if you are a business owner out there, the Mirth Project needs you and needs your volunteers. And again, I do think that this problem is solvable.
Yes,
we
it
just
is.
got to have the right people on the case, which I think we do.
Well, if we've got you with us, I think we're good.
Well, like I said, I'm just so grateful to the work that you do in our community.
Thank you.
I did not realize what a huge problem this is. And I also didn't realize that it impacts so many facets of their lives. It's not just like the job world or education. It's everything. And the more people that we can bring together to help, the
Takes
better.
a village.
And I love that you have multiple different opportunities for people to get involved.
Oh, yes. And we're willing, if there's a business out there, a brand out there that wants to talk, we are very creative. And we are happy to discuss how we can work together. We love to promote people that we work with.
Yep.
And we're happy to hear from anyone, happy to talk.
Well, and it's not like you have all this bureaucracy.
No, we are agile.
Yeah, you can basically run like the wind, which I love as well.
Exactly. We're very innovative and agile and happy to move in any direction. So.
And I am here to help you in any way possible. So
appreciate you.
Please let our viewers know one more time how they can get in touch with you and answer any other questions about the Mirth Project.
Absolutely. So you can go to our website, www.themirthproject.org, and there's a place there that you can send us a message, and I get that directly. And send me a message. I will answer you within 24 hours, and we'll set up a time to talk.
Wonderful. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for being on the show.
So much fun.
The work you do
Can
is
I talk
so
to you
important.
every afternoon?
Yes, you absolutely can. Just call me. That is going to conclude this episode of Inside Northwest Columbus. Thank you so much, Robin, for being here. I hope you learned a lot today. This really is a solution that can be solved, but we need all of you to do it. So please reach out to Robin and the Mirth Project, or to myself. I'm happy to connect you as well. Just so grateful that we've got people like you in our community.
Gotcha.
So
Thank you.
until next time, we will see you on Inside Northwest Columbus.
Boxland Media. Think big.